Okay, so I think we can get started now. Ellen, you want?
We can get started. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is an Exploring Research at UCI webinar presented to you by the SART Graduate School and Research Team. And if you're looking for any research opportunities or don't know where to reach out, how to reach out, you've come to the right place. And we can start by introducing the SART team. Julia, you can go ahead.
Hi, everyone. My name is Julia. I'm a fourth-year social policy and public service and psychology major, and I'm one of the peer consultants at the SART team.
Hello, everyone. My name is Naya. I'm a fifth-year anthropology major. Sorry, I have hiccups. And I'm one of the peer consultants over at SART.
And since Esther is not here today, I can introduce her on behalf of her. So Esther is a third-year political science and international studies major, and my name is Ellen Min, and I'm a second-year business econ and psychological science minor. So what we're going to go through today is a quick introduction to what Europe is and the opportunities that they provide. And we also have a Europe team here with us, so we can have a short Q&A session after. But before all that, we'll give you an introduction to the Research Discovery Program, campus-wide and departmental honors program, and Dr. Zinger's Instagram page, which is also another good opportunity for you to find research opportunities, and an introduction to the Summer Academic Enrichment Program, and then the Q&A session that I mentioned, and I'll briefly go over SARC resources, the resources that we provide, and where you can find other resources on campus. And we will wrap up with how you can contact professors, how you can email them, how to send them thank you emails, and how to reach out to them in general to find those research opportunities that you're looking for.
Okay, so first on our agenda, we're going to be talking about the Undergraduate Research Opportunities Program, also known as Europe on campus. So what we have here today as guest speakers is Jared Ventura, who is also a Europe advisor, and a Europe ambassador, Nicholas Choi, who is majoring in mechanical engineering right now. So by the end of this presentation, we'll be able to have a Q&A with them, and you can drop down your questions in the Q&A section of the Zoom. So you may ask, what is Europe? So the Europe is the Undergraduate Research Opportunities Program. Their mission is to integrate undergraduate students into the research culture of the university by providing opportunities for faculty and students to work together on research projects. So some of the Europe opportunities includes the Research Experience Fellowship. So the Research Experience Fellowship can provide reimbursement for research-related expenses. Funded awards are intended for use of project supplies and expenses and typically range from $250 to $3,000 per individual project, with higher amounts available for group projects. The second one here is called the Distinguished Research Fellowship. The call for spring proposals is now Distinguished Research Fellowship with higher amounts of funding available to a limited number of student projects. So this could be proposals for this spring or next year. And then for number 3, they're also calling for summer proposals for this year, which is Summer Undergraduate Research Program, and it's a research fellowship for UCI undergraduate students. It is aimed at students with some prior research experience who plan to continue an extensive faculty mentor research experience over the summer. So this means that you'll be conducting your research with a faculty member of your choice, and we'll get more into that later on. And then number 4 is the Travel or Publication Award. So undergraduate students who need monetary support for travel or of a publication expenses may apply for the Europe Travel or Publication Award. So what this means is that for travel, it could mean that you're traveling for a research symposium or a conference. So you may be able to apply for this award that could fund this opportunity. Or if you want to publish your research into an academic article or journal, then that's also a possibility for you as well to receive funding to be able to apply for that as well. And so for getting started with Europe, the first thing is attending an information session. So I know they can hold these quarterly, but if you're unable to meet these information sessions, you can also watch the recordings that are posted on the website. And then number 2 is complete the research worksheet. And we embedded a link into the slide itself that we'll be sending out towards the end of after the end of the presentation into this mass email for students who have attended, where you can access the research worksheet and be able to fill that out, or you can visit their website, Europe at uci.edu. Number 3 is to review the Europe opportunities. So what I just talked about with the opportunities beforehand, we can talk about which ones you're interested in doing, whether that's in spring, fall, or summer. And then number 4 would be contact Europe, Zoom call, and an appointment with Europe advisor. You can email them. So I know personally when I met with one of the guest speakers here today, Jared, we met over Zoom and I talked about how I was interested in joining Europe and how I can get started with that. And he's been very helpful in terms of like how to get started, what term would I want to apply my research in, and also like what I would like to propose. So that's also really helpful to kind of sit down with an advisor and just talk about what your research interests are and what your next steps are. And if Europe wasn't your first choice, then they could direct you to other places on campus that can fit more of your goals. So I definitely recommend meeting with a Europe advisor or just emailing them about your simple questions. And then number 5 is to find a faculty member and submit a Europe proposal for recognition and funding. So what this means is that you want to find a faculty mentor. They'll be able to guide you on your research. And this is an important decision because they'll be able to help you throughout your project. So choosing a faculty mentor that is also aligned with your research interests and you get along well personally is a very important decision, as that like your project could take a long time, and also you will want the mentorship that you want in order to be able to achieve what you need to achieve for the project itself. And then when you do submit the Europe proposal, it could take maybe a few weeks or maybe a few days. It's depending on how you and your group or yourself would like to form that proposal itself for what you want to conduct research in. So I definitely recommend submitting the Europe proposal and being able to set aside time to complete that as well. And then one of the things we want to highlight with the research discovery program that is also offered by Europe is that it prepares undergraduates academically, professionally, and personally to conduct research at some point during their academic studies at UCI. So if you're an undergraduate participant, you'll be considered as a mentee when you will attend workshops and group and individual meetings and complete assignments during the winter and spring quarters. And then the mentees that are matched with graduate student advisors, who are also known as mentors, will support and guide them throughout the process. This is definitely a great program to get into if you're interested in research, but you're not sure if you want to dive full in with your own research project and submitting a proposal for Europe. You just want to get hands-on experience and be able to have the guidance you need from graduate students. I definitely recommend joining this discovery program. As of now on the website, there's no specific date of deadline, but we do know from the Europe advisor is that the application begins in fall quarter and will close in November 2023. I believe further details will be posted on the website, but that is the general timeline of what the discovery program application will be.
All right, so I'll be talking about campus-wide and departmental honors programs here at UCI. So first, in describing departmental honors, you may have an honors program within your like major, and you'll be able to work directly with faculty who are your professors for your upper division major coursework to conduct faculty mentored research. And yeah, but this does vary like by department, so it's kind of hard to explain. Like, you know, I'm an anthro major, you might be a poli-sci major, so you know, it kind of depends. But I would highly recommend you check out the website or like your major's website as they'll typically have like the different outlines of what potentially is entailed within the department's honors program. They kind of vary depending on what it is, but for the most part, like you'll see that it's best for like upper division, upperclassmen students who are in their junior or senior years. And you might be required to have a commitment to 2 to 4 quarters of specific classes, including like independent study research underneath faculty mentors who will support you in your thesis. And yeah, there's other things such as, or other eligibilities such as GPA requirements, prerequisite courses, and of course, the application, or if it's invitation based. So you'd really want to just check out like your specific school's website for more insight on what might be needed. So yeah. So I'm in the campus-wide honors collegium, and the campus-wide honors collegium is campus-wide. So unlike the departmental like honors programs, I have honor students have the ability to be social science majors, but work directly under any tenured faculty throughout the entire university to curate their research. I currently work with the professor in the School of Business, for example, even though I major in anthropology. But another candidate that I was considering was a professor from the Department of Informatics. So that's something that's kind of like cool. Departmentally, you are kind of restricted to just the faculty within your major, but campus-wide honors, you can do it all. So this is a little bit different, but it does have some more like benefits, I feel, compared to just working with your department. There's things such as like the GE curriculum. I'm a transfer student, so this doesn't necessarily apply to me, but you can satisfy your requirements for your general education through the completion of the courses provided by the CHC. You don't have to necessarily do research specifically tailored to your major. So again, if you want to do something in biomedical, for example, you have the freedom to join a bio lab through the honors program or through the CHC honors program to like just get that kind of different experience compared to maybe a traditional like sociology or anthropology, ethnographic type of research. And so yeah, but I will say that there is like also some requirements to applying for this. But again, you can check on their websites for more details. And these are just some of the different benefits that are provided. Another perk is my enrollment window opened at 8 a.m. today, which is like the first day of the enrollment periods for spring. So that's kind of fun. You get to be the first to enroll in your classes. But of course, there's also like eligibility for housing and also specifically an honors themed house in Arroyo Vista. So there's like more than just like the graduate or academic experience that you'll kind of gain through this program that, has been worthwhile for me. So yeah. But if you have like any more questions about that stuff, I did try to put the websites like on the left or in the little bubbles. So yeah.
Okay, I also want to emphasize, or we want to emphasize that although that we are school of social sciences and maybe some people want to branch out into research that are different from social sciences, I do want to emphasize Dr. Zinger's Instagram. So she is an associate teaching professor at UCI she's in the Department of Psychological Science. So even though she's in sociology, she does have this Instagram where she posts opportunities regarding internships, job postings, research assistant positions, and graduate school information and campus events, which I highly recommend following her if you are wanting to stay up to date on events that are on campus that usually do have like alumni panels that are talking about like their journeys to their career paths, or just being able to see what research assistant positions are posted up there. So as you can see in the picture, there's already one research assistant post up on her Instagram. And so it's also a great way to kind of see what is available, because I know sometimes it could be very confusing trying to figure out where you can find research opportunities besides Europe or campus-wide honors collegiate. Maybe you want something a little bit more small in terms of like research assistant or research analyst positions. So this is a good way to kind of see what she does offer in terms of like on her Instagram posts, and being able to see also internships that are offered, and then any information about graduate school, where she does post degree programs from specific or like different schools on her Instagram. So not only you'll be able to see graduate school programs for UCI, but maybe schools up in NorCal or like East Coast or just outside of the US. So you'll be able to see what is available. Most of the time it's psychology related, but there are other opportunities that are related outside of psychology. So definitely take a look at her Instagram, give a follow, or just be able to be aware that there is opportunity out here.
Okay, so I believe we talked about SERP, but now we're gonna talk about SAYEP. I think that's how you say it. So this is another summer academic enrichment program that is 5 weeks intensives research on campus, particularly for or specifically for first generation and low income students. All costs are covered by your financial aid. And you can receive a small stipend for some students, but this also is like 8 units of academic credit, and you'll be able to basically lead your own research project with, of course, the support and guidance of UCI faculty, and really begin to network with graduate school and like certain graduate students, professors, faculty, and other members of the community to expand your knowledge and just receive the tools to like prepare your graduate school applications. And on the website they had like a little thing about benefits, which include like strengthening, I wrote them down on the notes, strengthening analytical, speaking, and research skills that prepare students for graduate school and honors thesis, undergraduate research opportunities programs, so Europe, summer research or internship programs. Additionally, provide an orientation to graduate education and how to apply for graduate programs. Prepare participants for working with historically underserved communities through volunteerism, public advocacy, and internships, and offer participants 3 challenging academic courses for graduate school preparation, professionalization, quantitative research methods, and computational analysis and qualitative research methods, which includes focus groups, qualitative surveys, or history, archives, ethnography, and more. So I think this is a really awesome program. I think I've had some peers that have participated in this in the past, and they've spoken very highly of their experience in it. And again, like coming from underrepresented like backgrounds, such as being first gen, low income, transfer even, things like that, you might not have like direct access to like mentors, advisors, or just, people to look up to that are knowledgeable about that stuff. And, it can be very daunting, but in this environment, you kind of get, like, I don't want to say like handheld, but like you get this necessary support in order to like begin to demystify that process, while at the same time gaining like a lot of other valuable skills that, will be transferable to your classes, work, or even other research projects that you participate in the future. So again, their website is on the right side. I think you have to apply like relatively soon, but I didn't check the deadline, so don't quote me. But if you're interested, the website's right there, so look it up.
Okay, so we're actually gonna go ahead and start the Q&A time with our Europe team. Like I said before, we have Jared Ventura, which is a Europe advisor, and we also have a Europe ambassador, Nicholas Choi, who is majoring in mechanical engineering. So feel free to drop any questions in the Q&A box, and then we'll read them out and be able to answer your questions. And also, while students are doing that, do you, Jared and Nicholas, want to introduce yourselves and explain why you are involved in Europe and what you're doing right now in your position?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and start. Sorry, it won't let me turn on my video, but
It's okay.
yeah. Hi everyone. My name is Jared. I'm a Europe advisor. I actually graduated from UCI in 2019 and I pursued my master's degree afterward. But I wanted to come back to Europe because I was involved in Europe here in my undergrad and I did education research. And so it was such a great program that helped me stand out when I went to graduate school, and becoming a Europe fellow was a lot of fun. I did our fall grant for proposals, and it really helped me stand out in grad school again. So I will pass it off to Nick.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nicholas Choi. I'm a fourth-year mechanical engineering student, and I also do research. It's an interdisciplinary project with both, it connects my major mechanical engineering with education. So it's something that's really important to me, and it's a really great way to personalize my education. So I really enjoy how research allows me to explore options outside of what's typically offered during my classes in my major. I'm able to work and develop a lot of skills that I normally wouldn't have the opportunity to. So it's really great being able to have that experience and just develop a new skill set is something that I'm really personally interested in.
All right, thank you so much, Jared and Nicholas, for sharing your short bio so everyone gets to know a little bit about who you are. We have a first question in the chat. It says, how do I specifically apply to research discovery program?
Yeah, that's a great question. So applying to the research discovery program, like Julia mentioned earlier, it does open in the fall. So right now, we aren't currently recruiting students, but we are always recruiting students in the fall. And so it will be on our website, and we have a research discovery program page that students can look at and see what the requirements are. It'll have the application there for you. And so you can always reach out to us with any questions that you have on that.
Okay, thank you so much, Cher, for sharing that. There's also another question in the chat where it asks, is there a Instagram profile or maybe a UCI website that posts research opportunities that are available other than the Dr. Zinger opportunity we shared?
Yeah, Nick, do you want to take that one?
There's a lot of different opportunities offered around UCI, and I think the best way to search for research opportunities is by going to your departmental websites. So for each of the different majors and departments at UCI, it lists all the different research specializations that are offered. So for example, in my own department, mechanical engineering, we have emphasis in aerospace, thermal sciences, fluid mechanics. And recently, when I was tabling for Europe, I also helped somebody in the environmental science major look for different research emphasis in ones that connected with the atmosphere and others that connected with more the human experience in the world. So I definitely encourage you just to look at the website that you're interested in for your major and just see what professors are working on what and going on their websites individually. Each professor at UCI should have a profile that includes both their email, their website, and on their website, sometimes they have specific instructions on how to apply to their labs and if they're looking for undergraduate researchers. So I definitely encourage you just to explore the different pages there's a lot of different opportunities at UCI because it is an R1 institution, which does mean that it's research focused. So that means that basically all the professors that you're taking classes for are doing research, and commonly it isn't a topic that connects with the class. So if you really like the class that you're in, I definitely encourage you to go to office hours, talk to your professors, maybe see if they have any websites that you can learn more about them.
Thank you, Nicholas, for an insightful answer. There's also another question in the chat where it asks, is research essential for grad school, preferably PhD in psychology?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I always tell students that research has a lot of transferable skills that you can use. So public speaking, communication skills, right? Presenting your data, which a lot of these things you'll be doing in your PhD program, but also it's always great, especially research can always help you find out what you're interested in. So when you enter that PhD program, you might have an idea or background of what you want to research. Again, I always tell students it gives you hands-on experience. It has a lot of great benefits, and it teaches you how to work with a team and a faculty member. Nick, I saw you unmute, and I'll let you add some too.
Yeah, something I recently did was I applied for graduate school as well. I applied for master programs in mechanical engineering, and a lot of the applications, they really do emphasize what are your research interests and backgrounds. So there's a personal statement and a statement of intent, which both of those really just go over what's your background in undergrad, what have you been learning, what have you been doing, what have you been exploring, which is one of the main questions. And research really is an exploration aspect of your undergraduate education. And I really do think it's important to explore if you like research, because PhD programs are about up to 6 years. So it's important that you do really like your research. And if you, it's important that you're able to utilize this opportunity in your undergraduate career to be able to explore just different opportunities, see if you like a topic, maybe if you don't like a topic, that's something that you know not to explore in your PhD program. So even if it's not fully required, sometimes I really do think it's important just to explore.
Yeah, thank you for your answer, Nicholas and Jared. There's also another question in the chat. I'm not sure if y'all can answer it, but this person asked, I applied to SAEP recently, but I wondered if you guys know when we should be hearing back from them.
I actually don't know the answer to that one.
Yeah.
Um,
Maybe I can ask Carissa, who is in the meeting right now, and see if she knows. Carissa, do you think you can answer that question? If not, we can just skip to another question.
I can maybe try. I looked at the website and the application did just close. So probably not gonna happen like anytime soon, but given that the program does start in June, like June 26th, you'd probably hear something back like in spring quarter, is what I'm guessing. Like maybe May at the latest, or April, if you're lucky. So probably more towards spring than right now. But I'm sure they'll inform you soon.
Thank you, Nia. Yeah, I think that as long as you applied, you should be hearing back from them either in spring or sooner or later. I think it's great that you apply for SAEP, so hopefully you do get in. It should be before summer because it is a summer program, so you'll be definitely hearing back from them soon. Okay, so there's another question in the chat where it asks, is there a type of research opportunity that grad schools prioritize when they decide to admit students into their programs?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and start. And so I always tell students, like I said earlier, research has a lot of transferable skills. So I think it's what you do with those transferable skills and how you apply them. I always tell students, think about, there are a lot of links and connections to research that sometimes I meet with students and they're like, Jared, I don't have any like research experience, right? And I'm like, no, it's okay, don't worry, because professors understand that you are all undergraduates, you're earning your bachelor's degrees, and they want to help students because they also did undergraduate research when they were in undergrad. Even if it was decades ago when they did undergrad research, they still know where you are and want to help you in that process. So I tell students not a specific area of research, is prioritized with grad schools, but just getting involved in research is what's most important. Nick, I'll let you tag team on that one.
Yeah, I think professors don't look for anything specific. I think what they really look for is passion and an interest in research. So I definitely encourage you to find something that you love. Don't find the first opportunity that just comes to you. I definitely encourage you to search out your options. Think about what classes you really like, what professors really like. Why did you select your major? All those are really important things to think about before going into research. And I think if when you're in a lab that you really connect with, I think your work will feel a lot more impactful and you'll feel more connected and you'll feel more determined to really push through and do well because research is really difficult. But for me, I personally really love what I do. So I'm able to really feel really connected and I feel really personally motivated to keep moving forward. And I think that's reflected in my essays to graduate schools when I talk to other professors. And also something else I will discuss is during the graduate school process, especially for PhD programs, you'll have to do interviews with professors before you join the program. And I think it's really important that you'll be able to understand your research and it really shines through that you love your research. And I think that's the most important. But something else I will discuss that is another opportunity is the National Science Foundation offers research experience for undergraduate programs. And these are programs that are offered through different schools all throughout America, different universities, even at UCI. So I definitely encourage you to Google the REU fellowships because some universities, they give you a stipend to study research at a different university during the summer, almost like an internship. And I think these opportunities are really great because they allow you to explore multiple different professors and multiple different experiences outside of UCI as well during your undergraduate education. And I think it's a really great opportunity that you should definitely consider and utilize.
And REUs, just to clarify for what Nick said, there are research experience for undergraduate students. So they're really helpful to keep an eye out for.
Thank you so much for providing that opportunity as well. I was not aware of that, so that's great to know. So thank you so much for mentioning that. There's also another question in the chat where I ask, how would you go about contacting a professor individually about research? Pretty much, how do you bring up in an email without being awkward? So we actually have a slide about that that we can go over after the Q&A, but I would like Jared and Nicholas to talk a little bit more about that as well.
Nick, go for it.
For this question, I'll start off. So I started research as a second-year student. I wanted to start research as a first-year student. I knew that's what I wanted to get involved in, but I wanted to make sure that I was all set with my classes academically because I did have a rough transition period. But during my second year, I did feel more prepared. So what I did was I found a professor that I really liked from my department website. I felt that the research interest that she was exploring really resonated with something that I was interested in. So I just sent an email to her. And I know that it may seem awkward, but research is something that's really important to these professors. They're actually super passionate and they would love to share the opportunity and experiences with undergraduate students because they want to see your growth as well. And also your work in this lab or research group, it will also help them. So they're definitely looking for passionate students to help them out. I did a couple different methods. Another method I actually did to join a different research group was I was in a class with a professor and I really liked the topic. That was how I joined my engineering education interdisciplinary research project. And what I did was I asked the professor just to schedule a meeting just to learn a little bit more about the topic. I didn't necessarily jump into getting involved in research quite at this step. I kind of just wanted to plant the seed and kind of grow the relationship between me and the professor to see if maybe down the line we can start a research project together. So we just had more of a conversation. It wasn't really like an interview. It wasn't anything formal. We just got to know each other better. And I feel like many students may feel more accustomed to that. So I definitely encourage you, don't feel like you have to jump right into research. I encourage you just to get to know your professor better because they will serve as a mentor to you. So it's important that you build that connection and kind of foster a really close one so you can feel comfortable together.
Thank you, Lucas, for providing such a great answer to that question. We also have another question in the chat by Jacqueline. She asked, the Research Discovery Program website says the first year UCI undergraduates, freshmen or transfers should apply. Is this a strict requirement?
So that's a great question. This is actually Europe's second year of running the Research Discovery Program. And so last year, 2 years ago, I should say, we had a little bit stricter requirements and we're starting to open them up a little bit more. So what I would say is in the fall, definitely double check to see if the requirements have changed, just because we are trying to get more funding for the program so that we can reach as many students as possible. So keep an eye out on our website. And like I said, that research discovery program application opens up in fall. But I always tell students, even if you don't get into the program, a lot of the workshops that are offered to the research discovery program students are also open to other UCI students. And you can still meet with us one-on-one and have that support as well. I can be your mentor, Nick could be your mentor. We also have ambassador office hours that students can come drop by and visit and have that peer-to-peer interaction. So there are definitely other ways to get involved in research outside of that program too.
Yeah, I definitely encourage you to visit the website, and you're free to send us an email and stop by the ambassador office hours. We've definitely been where you guys have been. I know it's very scary to get involved in undergraduate research, but it's a really exciting thing. So you guys can definitely do it. And don't worry, if you need a little extra encouragement, a little help along the way, we're there for you. You're up.
Yeah, so actually Jared was able to put his contact information, his email, and Nicholas' email as well in the answered section of the Q&A. So if you want to take a look at that and be able to send them over an email, that's available for you as well. So thank you for answering that question. There's also another question in the chat where it asks, this is kind of off topic, but are there PhD programs you can apply to straight out of undergrad? If so, should we get started on research as soon as possible?
Yeah, so that's a really great question. A lot of PhD programs require that you have a bachelor's degree. Some require that you may have a master's, but I think the majority of them just require a bachelor's degree. So I know a couple of our ambassadors right now are going straight off to PhD programs after their undergrad. And I always tell students, on average, we see students start we want you to start by your junior year at the latest. If you're a transfer first year, start in your first year. But we tell students the sooner that you get involved in research, the better, because sometimes the research project will continue on for another academic year, right? And that can give you an opportunity for you to hone your skills and to complete what you want to complete during your time with that faculty mentor. And one other benefit of it, it's a great way to get letters of recommendation. So when I applied to graduate school for my master's degree, my faculty mentor wonderfully said yes to writing me a letter of recommendation. She could speak to all the skills that are needed in graduate school, which really helped me stand out. So I hope that helps answer your question, Nick. I don't know if you want to add anything.
Yeah, just for some information about the letter of recommendation. So typically graduate programs do require 3 letters of recommendation, and you do want them to be pretty strong. So you want them to be a little bit more beyond just taking a class with professor. But I know that sometimes letters of rec can also come from positions at work or other opportunities that you may have had around campus. But I think it's really important for one of the letters, especially for PhD programs, to emphasize your interest in research and your involvement, so that the PhD programs and the people reviewing the applications will know that you will be able to thrive in this program, that you will be able to like research. I think it is important to get started research as soon as you can, but I don't think you should rush yourself. The most important thing is to know that when you're ready, you should start research. Make sure that you're ready for like academically. Make sure that you are comfortable in your classes, your other time commitments. Don't feel like it's something you just have to stuff in. I definitely think you should definitely take the time and just see how you can schedule it into your schedule. I know on one of the previous slides, it went over the UROP checklist. It's also on our website, but if you fill that out, I think that'll definitely give you a good idea of just kind of like how scheduling may work and give you some more ideas on the more fine-tuned details.
Thank you for answering that question. We also have a question in the chat. It asks, if I want to continue my involvement after graduation, but before we apply to grad programs, where would we look for those opportunities? Is it common to allow people to be involved in research when you're no longer attending the university? Sorry for the long question. No worries, we take all questions here. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll start with that one and don't apologize for the long questions. A lot of the times the long questions are the ones that are really good that other people are wanting to ask. So don't ever apologize. Sometimes what I always tell students is, there are a lot of possibilities with research. Some students do research for credit. Obviously, if you are no longer a student, you wouldn't be able to do that post-graduation, but talk with your faculty mentor to see if that is allowed, like if they would still have you on after you graduate, because a lot of the times the need is still there, right? The research still needs to be completed. And so it can take some places a while to fill a position after students graduate, especially if the majority of the team is graduating. One of the other things I'll mention is that Europe specifically doesn't help with, I shouldn't say doesn't help, but Europe doesn't necessarily assist with getting students involved in research post-graduation because it is on that individual relationship between you and the faculty mentor or you and the lab. Nick, I don't know if you have anything to add.
Yeah, I don't think it's super uncommon for students to pursue research after their bachelor's completed if they want to finish their project. I think it's more common in like the biomedical field where students take a gap year before applying to med school because they want to stream their application. So I can also see it in a fact where maybe if a student pursues a full-time position, but maybe it's not in the field that they quite want to be in, and they still later want to apply for PhD programs, if they already connected with the faculty mentor in their undergrad and they still just want to continue to finish up their project to keep developing the application, I think it is a possibility that you can continue, but that has to be a conversation with your faculty mentor. So when you join a lab, I definitely think it's important to have that dialogue to see if they'll be open to that because it is on an individual level.
Yeah, thank you so much for answering that question. So it looks like we don't have any more questions coming in. So if anyone wants to put in a last quick question, they feel free to do so, but maybe we can move on after this question was already answered. So let's just wait maybe a few seconds if students want to pop a question in, or we can just move on. And if you have any other further questions that you're unable to think about right now, but they'll pop up later, feel free to contact Jared or Nicholas. I was able to put in their contact information in the chat as well. So it's going to be in the Q&A answer box, but also in the chat too. So it looks like there's no more questions in the Q&A. So we'd like to say thank you, Jared and Nicholas, for being able to answer all the different questions that were put into the Q&A. I hope that students were able to receive a lot of insight and advice from what next steps they can do for research opportunities on campus. So we're going to move on into the next part of the presentation. That was already there, sorry. Oh, sorry. Let me just go back. Okay.
Yeah, before I introduce the SARC resources, I do want to thank our Europe team again, because I honestly was learning a lot during the Q&A session as well. So thank you once again. And someone mentioned in one of the Q&A questions, how do you send emails without being awkward or without sounding awkward? And those are the things that we can help with at SARC. You guys can always make an appointment for 30-minute consultations with a peer consultant, which is me, Julia, Naya, and we have other peer consultants here at SARC. But whether it's you want to discuss graduate school, internships, research opportunities, or even scholarship opportunities, you can always make an appointment through the website or even just by walking in. And in terms of finding research opportunities, we have a whole tab that provides a whole guide on what research is and how to meet with professors, how to send the email, or school-wide and university-wide opportunities. Next slide, please. Okay, so in terms of contacting professors, if I were to give you a quick summary, if you can meet with the professors in person, like during office hours, or even send them an email. We have an email template on our website, and it's super detailed. It tells you what you should not say or what you should say, and just general formats on like asking them for a research opportunity, or if they're available to talk. Like any general email templates are on our website under the research, looking for research opportunities tab. And so the third step would be to not, I guess, like read articles that are based on your subject matter or like your research like subject, and be familiar with it. So when you're discussing it with a professor, you sound like you sound knowledgeable, and you seem like you're interested in what you're going to pursue in the future. And another step would be to discuss the topics with the professor or the faculty member, including a project proposal or finding other research opportunities on campus. And once again, if you need any help approaching professors about these topics, then SARC is always here to help you. And yeah, so if you guys have any other questions regarding SARC, or even finding research opportunities or writing the email itself, you can always contact SARC or just walk in for an appointment. So feel free to drop in any last minute questions, but if not, I think we can start wrapping up. Oh, where is SARC located? I just read that question. So SARC is located in the Social Science Behavioral Gateway building. It's right next to the business school, the building itself. But once you walk into the building, it's right across the elevators, and we have a hallway. You walk in, and what was our room number again, Julia?
Yeah,
It was
it's gonna be
SPSG.
SPG 1230. I can put it in the chat. Yeah.
And at SARC, you can always utilize our space as a study like a library, I guess. Yeah, so I always come in, not only when I'm on my shift, but just when I want to study in a quiet place. So you can always utilize our space as well. Yeah, once again, this is our contact information. If you have any questions, feel free to drop in, walk in, or even contact us through our Instagram. And we have all our webinars recorded and saved on our YouTube channel, so you guys can always check that out. But other than that, thank you so much for sitting with us today, and hopefully this was a lot of information. But if you have any other questions, always reach out to us. And thank you so much.
Thank you. I also wanted to ask if Jared and Nicholas have anything to say, that they want to leave, any last words before we end the webinar.
I think one of the things that Europe always says, it's kind of like our catchphrase, is just don't be the one to tell yourself no. So if you feel like you're unqualified or unworthy to do research or not, every student can do undergraduate research, and come visit our office. SARC is also a wonderful resource to help you out. And so just know that you can do it. And like Nick shared, sometimes I thought I couldn't do it as a student. I'm like, why would they want to work with me? But, you know, like I said, professors want to continue on that relationship with undergraduate students. And so they're here to support you. And so don't hesitate to reach out to them or to us for any help.
Yeah, research is definitely, I think, a really scary process to get involved in, because I think we definitely have that fear that holds us back. But just know that you can do it and you will succeed. So just find something you love and then just keep moving forward and it'll work out. But you have a lot of resources along the way to help you out. So I definitely encourage you, take advantage of SARC, take advantage of Europe. We're all there for you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nicholas and Jared, for coming and being our guest speakers for our event. We really appreciate it and appreciate your time and honesty about everything. So thank you so much for coming to our SARC event. And I hope that everyone here has been able to gain the knowledge that they can from the Q&A and also the presentation that we'll be sending out later on in the follow-up email. either today or tomorrow. So look out for that. And then if you feel like you missed anything throughout the presentation, it will be posted on our UCI SARC YouTube. So feel free to check that out. And if you want to be able to talk one-on-one with Europe advisors and ambassadors, you'll be able to make an appointment on there, or you can make an appointment with us at SARC that we can further assist you. So I hope that everyone has a great week 8. I want to see if Ellen or Naya have anything else to say towards the end of the presentation, and then we can just end it there.
I guess just a reminder that SARC is here for you, not only for research opportunities, but for other opportunities as well, whether you're finding an internship or just want us to review your resume, cover letters, or a transfer essay that you're writing, anything related to your, I guess like graduate school, research opportunities, internships, you guys can always come to us for help. So just feel free, don't hesitate.
Yeah, and I think you both said it. Yeah, I'm just gonna wish everyone luck on their research endeavors and to remember to have fun.
All right, thank you everyone for coming to our presentation. I hope everyone has a great week 8 and have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you.